Near, rip a hole in the sun. Welcome to Cum Paude. Why would you cum soft when you can cum louder? Yeah.
Welcome to Cum Laude, Cum Paude, the podcast. Joined here by the great one, the Firmalicious, the assistant to the legal manager, Dame Judy Dench. What's going on, Fermi?
Ahoy, hoy.
Yeah, buddy, we've got a big week 9 behind us, and a big week 10 ahead. The bye week season is in full throes, and I think we're really seeing who can be the most efficient and who can be the least efficient of all of our managers. NFL trade deadline having passed, and a lot of just jockeying for position. Probably some final rattling of the rosters here before a final playoff push. What do you think?
That's right. Week 9 was fun. We had 2 matchups with 2 500 teams each. We had 3 upsets in this past week, if you want to call them that. You know, we had some top dogs going down, had some surprise victories coming through. It was a pretty exciting week, but definitely some of these teams got hit hard by the buys. Some of those big scoring teams, Cowboys, Steelers, not really a big scoring team there. I'm just naming teams that all of my players are on, since I had 12 people in a buy this past week.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like you're just running down your roster woes a little bit there, but your roster woes were a lot of people's roster woes, so that's representative in some ways.
That's right, but we had a good stand-in shake-up there. We've now got 2 teams tied for first, 2 teams tied for second. We got a good
2
mix
teams tied for last, 2, baby.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Back where we're supposed to be, back where we belong.
Can't forget about last place. Very important.
What do you think?
Well, let's dive in.
Yeah, let's do a quick little recap here of week 9.
Yeah, I think we're going to jump right in here to the 2 podcast hosts between the Cum Sale and the Dame Judy Dench. Exciting matchup here, maybe. Dame comes out on top. I think everybody saw that coming. Definitely scrambled to get the lineup together. A lot of people in bye week. Luckily, some people got healthy. I think the biggest thing to note here is that gutsy move to trade for Kenyon Drake, giving up a 3rd round pick, and boy, did it pay off. Kenyon Drake was just looking for the right home at the right time. Paid off. Dame could have won this matchup with Kenyon Drake and the Patriots D by themselves. So very, very good there. One key note, PJ Walker, quarterback, normally somebody you can bank on to get double digits at least in points, found a way to get negative points this week. So true fashion of the Cum Sale, you wouldn't expect anything different. Putting a quarterback out there that gets negative points.
Yeah, I mean, we're I guess fearing maybe XFL relegation, you would think, but the Panthers have named him the starter for week 10, so we're going right back to the well. Unfortunately, it might be somebody else who's going to have to get a drink from that well. It ain't going to be me no more. That's there's nothing to write home about, other than Cole Kmet finally showed up and showed out for the first time, so now accepting trade offers. Let's move on to the next matchup. The ABC squad, 1, 2, 3 Sesame Street versus the league manager, climbing himself, perhaps unwillingly, perhaps accidentally, out of the cellar, or at least into a tie for last place against the Sesame Streeters. A pretty balanced matchup, to be quite honest. Nothing really exciting here, other than it seems like both these teams were carried by just a couple of players, and other than that, really saw a lot of guys scoring under 5 points. I mean, we can count them up here live, but we've got in this just kind of sub 10 point range, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the ABCers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the Slobs, my Daubers. That's pretty low scoring affairs. Fortunately, they were able to be carried by some quarterback performances and at least one skilled player performance. Not a whole lot to see here, other than 2 teams that are just trying to find an identity. I would say that the ABC squad was more affected by the bye week, while Slobs, my Dobbs, well, he backed himself into a win with a team that seemed like maybe he was trying to lose. Speaking of Slavs Majdab, the league manager is poised to join us here in just a couple of minutes. We will admit him into the room and then quickly plow through the rest of this for a special segment with the league manager.
Yeah, next we had Malikin Woods going up against the Bateman returns, and as we're talking about it, the Slob Dobbs joining us. It's gonna be some fun here. Watching this game was exciting. Malikin the Woods put up big points early. Bateman, I think, had all 1 o'clock matchups. I don't think I had seen that before, where every player was going at 1 o'clock and he was just done. At 99.6, he would have beaten 6 other teams this week. Really good showing. You mentioned last week, if you put up 100, you got a good chance of winning, especially during bye weeks. Got let down a little bit by Justin Herbert more than anything else. But I think the key thing for Malikin Wood is Gino. He got his quarterback, made the trades, did what he had to do. Can't trust Russ. Somebody else is on his team. I don't know who else is on his team. Couldn't put it. Jared Goff. Yeah. Goff's had flashes, right? But hasn't been able to do it in the last few weeks. But look, he's going to throw Gino out there. Had Kamara that you'd expect to go wild as well, playing against that tough Baltimore D. Malikin made a statement here. I think we got to keep our eyes on him. Gets out of 500. He's a game over now. Over 500, that is. Putting himself in a nice position for playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, the team's a good team. Yeah, I don't think, and both of these squads are teams that both should make the playoffs. I would think, and both can win in any given week. Now let's go to one team that seemed to be poised to dominate the world versus a team that just was struggling to find itself, but gets Cordero Patterson back, the missing piece of the puzzle. If you don't really want a 32-year-old or 33-year-old or whatever the hell year old kick returner running back, I mean, what do you want, quite honestly? And he's got his guy back in the lineup scoring. But let's be real here. It's a story of one guy, right? the mixologist, Mixon man, just dropping 5 tutties on the pubic medusas. Didn't really stand a chance. Not a bad lineup, like you said. 100 points, man. That's got to give you a chance. Not when Joe Mixon gets more than half of that by himself. Big goose egg out of your tight end position, and some pretty weak scoring from your wide receiver to your defense and your kicker. But when you got one dude with 50 plus points, man, you're going to win most of those, or at least you should.
I think you got to watch this team if they can somehow sneak into the playoffs, right? Scroll down and see the other player that puts up 47.8 points. Justin Fields is finding his way. Got him in a trade. I think we see Justin Fields start to get in that lineup instead of Aaron Rodgers. We see maybe Jamar Chase getting healthy towards the end of the year. If this team can sneak into the playoffs, they might be tough to beat.
Yeah, and I guess the trade came from the pubic medusas. I mean, he was harboring Justin Fields, let him go. Obviously, he now has Jalen Hurts and what we're calling white Jalen Hurts in Indianapolis. We'll see sans Frank Reich if that turns into some better offense there. But good team, good squad, and man, big win from St. Brown and Hutch.
That's right. Here's our second upset of the week. Third upset, if we want to count the Slobdob taking down CD's nuts. But Beth's Healthy Twins taking down the reigning champ, going down again, losing the second game here. Solid outing from both teams. Good production. It's the Miami receivers again. Huge game there between Chicago and Miami, and of course had the right players. Now with Jeff Wilson Jr. there getting some touches, and I think getting in the end zone. Look at that, Miami. A lot of points coming from it, but it's working. And then Nick Folk, all he does is kick field goals. Dude's having a hell of a year there in New England.
He's the best offensive player on the Patriots this year, right?
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
That's right. Mahomes came, did his thing. Cup came, did his thing. We're watching the running backs start to slide. Made the decision to start Khalil Herbert. It didn't matter which Chicago running back he played because Fields was doing all the running for him.
Not bad for a running back, right?
Yeah, not bad. So we'll have to see what next week has to come, see if stage 5 can get it back or if we're going to see him start sliding.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing about when we're thinking about dynasty rosters, and then to quickly move off of this, is David Montgomery's at the end of his contract term. This is probably the end of his time in Chicago. Of course, he'll get signed somewhere else because he's been a very durable and productive running back throughout his career. But I mean, that the age of his productivity is starting to come to an end. I mean, what that means is pending draft picks and things like that, Khalil Herbert stands in line to be kind of the workhorse back. So for a team that seems to be getting older, at least that position seems to be shored up where a handcuff should take on the lead role and then maybe in that role for years.
Yeah.
The Bunchen player, man.
What happened, Donta Foreman?
Yeah, just we don't know what the play is there in Carolina. I mean, hey, at least you didn't get negative. I mean, that's maybe that's all you can ask for from the Panthers this time of year. Joe Burrow still throwing up 21 points after his running back was doing all the work. I mean, lets you know just how good that offense was in that matchup. Was slinging the ball all over the field, and you got to just obviously see Joe Mixon kind of pound a number of them home, though he was part of the receiving work for sure. Rivers Me Timbers is whatever, not a bad team, 7-2. You are what your record says you are from the bottom of the top. Looking at the lineup, it doesn't seem to be something that should strike too much fear in you this year, but at the same time, we've got Deshaun Watson on his way back. So you've got this Deshaun Watson, Joe Burrow dilemma. Odell Beckham seems to be the hot lick, as it were, for current free agent signings. And of course, you've got Kittle over the middle, should be back and ready to play healthy next week. So, man, a lot to like about this team. Wasn't super high on them at the beginning of the year, but all they do is win, baby.
Yeah. It's a good team. Curtis Samuel getting that touchdown with the help of the ref, setting the pick on the DB. So finds a way to get wins.
It's just hell of a play. Yeah, hell of a play by the ref. Yeah, I mean, if you don't chuck it into quadruple coverage and use the ref as a screen, are you really playing Commanders football? That's what it's all about.
Last matchup from week 9, we had 2 4-4 teams going against each other. DC Insurredskinists goes all in, top scorer of the week, getting points all across the board. Big efforts from Tua and Ken Walker. Ken Walker just keeps running the ball. And Dallas Go Dirt getting over 20 again there as well. The Ham Fist just, he's got a solid team. They just didn't do enough this past week. A lot of low scores from the running backs. Antonio Gibson, it looks like he's going back and forth between Robinson and Gibson. Can't figure out who to start. Another problem just with weaker players. DC's got the same problem, just got stronger players to have to pick from. But you look at how dangerous the Foreskins team really is. Somebody on that team is going to carry you any given week. AJ Brown was last week or the week prior. This week, Kenny Walker steps up and Tua just feels like throwing it all over the place. So huge showing. I think we're going to keep seeing that team shine. They're going to keep winning games.
No disagreement here. Really worry about these two guys rest of season. I mean, for the squad, if you've got these guys in other leagues, I mean, hoping for the best for both of them, but it just seems like DeAndre Swift just may not be healthy this year at all, though he'll play the rest of the year, which is the worst case scenario, right? As a dude who's just kind of hobbled and on a snap count. And then Antonio Gibson, I mean, who knows what Ron Rivera is doing there. What do you think? What do you think about maybe inviting the LM in here? See what he's got to say as we kind of look ahead towards the upcoming week.
There he is.
Excellent analysis, as always. Appreciate it. Yeah, got some thoughts. As you're going through, I couldn't help but notice this is the time of the year where you start looking at strength of schedule, right? A lot of teams right on the bubble. And, I was kind of looking at, as you were talking, 2 teams that are on the bubble, really tough strength of schedule the rest of the way. Kevin's team, MS Bateman, RIP, MS Bateman. And then also Brian, the Bunchen player. You look at the rest of their schedule, it's all playoff teams. So it's going to be interesting. I thought that move Kevin and Matt made, moving Kamara and then playing against Kamara, that was a bold move, but he was kind of sending a message. I want to solidify my receiver core there. And then, going through, just looking at team weaknesses, I feel like, Brian, some of these other guys, Caponia's team, they really need like a strong tight end. Kind of getting choked up about it, actually. So it's.
Take your time. Take your time.
It's going to be interesting to see, how these next few weeks shake out. What teams, are going to be buyers. Which teams are going to decide that they're selling. Moving from 10-team playoff to 8-team playoff should definitely impact that. So, just a fascinating moment in the season. So,
and we're about a month away. From our trade deadline. Really kind of four NFL weeks away at this point from the fantasy trade deadline, with very little NFL roster movement going to be taking place. So we kind of know, sans injuries, what the NFL is looking like, and which teams are going to be, maybe trotting some more rookies out, and which teams are really going hard for the playoffs.
Absolutely, man. I think about that with the Raiders. Is Josh Jacobs going to take a hit for Tommy's team? Because you wonder, Zamir White's there. Is he the future? You're going to start to see more of him. Totally. Look at this lineup for Medusa's. Good God. I don't think I've ever seen all check marks for the advantage for one team.
Well, but if you would have looked at my matchups on a week-to-week basis, you might have seen this before. But yeah, point well taken. No, it's a good team. It's a good team. What are your predictions here, LM Sword? We're looking at the Pubic Medusa's versus Come Sail Away. I think the general consensus would say one thing, but do you have a hot take here, maybe?
I think you can cover, Nick. I'm gonna say that you cover the -60. I'll put money down on that.
All right, keeping it within 61.
Your team's sneaky good now, man. Look at that. You got DJ, Tony. I don't know what's gonna happen with Kadarius Toney. We'll see. I held him for too long. He may
just be starting for this squad in order, just to showcase him a little bit for other members in the league. You never know.
Yeah. Absolutely. Trade deadline's coming up. Somebody might need him, so you want to get some tape out there.
Always happy to contribute to the shortest need for analysis every single week. Let's move on to the next matchup here.
Look at this one. Look at this one. Spreads 4. It's going to be a close one. CD's Nuts has a much better team than his record shows. He gobbled up Garoppolo for the bye week replacement. Great pickup against the Chargers. He's got a shot to put up points. Can James Conner really do something? It looked like he finally played. He was finally healthy. Is he going to do anything in that offense? Playing against the Rams, against Aaron Donald. I don't know what the Rams are going to bring either, but got DeAndre Hopkins just catching every single other ball that Kyler Murray throws. But coming off of licking my woods off of a big week, put up over 120, get big points out of a quarterback. He's got a lot of talent, and Devontae finally showed up. That's the big thing. Like, we've been waiting all year for Devontae to really do something, and you throw Devontae and Eckler in there together. That's a tough lineup to beat. And then Kamara, right? Scary looking team, but line's 4. Who you putting your money on, LM?
I'm a looking and I'm a liking. So.
All right. We're going Matty Ice laying 4 on the road at CD's Nuts. Sports betting about to turn live here in Maryland, and we're fully embracing it.
I'm embracing it
here in the Public Honors College.
I just want to give Scott a shout out, though. I mean, Saquon Barkley, everybody was down on him last year. Yeah, I told him over the summer, I'm like, he's not going to be any good again. But number 6 position rank, he has just been a monster carrying this team. So you got to respect the faith. But
well, I mean, obviously, I mean, don't discount Jason Myers' impact on Scott's team, but yeah, looking at position ranks, look at Matt's squad, man. Nobody below a 3rd level at any position, and that's Greg Dulcich, the rookie, who really didn't get any run until week 4. I mean, so we're talking about like week in and week out performances, which is pretty serious. But yeah, no, and Saquon, I've heard it from a reliable authority too, that there were a number of different offers that were made for Saquon, and Scott had resisted those offers. So
yeah. Well, Fournette's getting replaced soon though, so keep your eyes on that.
That's what we keep hearing.
Slobs Madobs against Street Brown and Hutch. Another battle for draft picks potentially. The Street Brown showed that they can put up points. Justin Fields is in the lineup as we expected. Cordero, Melvin must have a bye week with the other running back there. Julio and Pickens, Mixon on a bye, so you're not getting that 50-point cushion this week. So right. I don't know. LM, you got Najee and you got Chuba in there. You can't tank when you have Justin Jefferson. There's just no getting around it. So I don't know. If you win another, is it worth it? Do you just keep grinding?
Here's the thing, man. Talking about strength of schedule, I have the best strength of schedule rest away. No offense to Nick's team, the Cum Sale. But I get to play Nick again, Caponia, week 14. So it's going to be interesting. I play both Knicks over the next 2 weeks. So it could easily be 4-7. Najee Harris, biggest disappointment, I think. Losing Javonte is a big deal. I just heard recently that Najee's been playing with a freaking steel plate on his foot from that Liz Frank injury. So I'm like, all right, thank God, because I just thought maybe this guy sucks. So, if he turns the corner, like you said, Rashad White might be taking over that backfield in Tampa. We'll see. At least a 50% split would still be good. So, yeah, it's not over mathematically, but emotionally, I think it's time to move on to next year.
Now, is that an American Pittsburgh steel there in Najee's foot?
Be no other.
One would hope, and I imagine Senator-elect Fetterman wouldn't accept any less. So maybe that'll be a change heading into next year, huh?
Fetty Wap, I like the shout out. Personal friend.
Come say we got a line of 6.1.
Oh man, the LM laying the points at St. Brown and Hutch. I'm taking the league manager here, laying nearly a touchdown against St. Brown and Hutch on the road. Sans Joe Mixon. I think we're going to be kind of falling back to earth here. Give me Slobs, my Dobbs laying the points.
Wow,
oh, baby.
Wow, what's okay? Quick analysis here is Miami's playing Cleveland, who just did a number on Cincinnati before going into a bye. I mean, best healthy Twins lives and dies by Miami production. Is that why we're seeing such a low projection for the Twins here?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the Browns are playing great defense. You got to wonder at what point does Beth's healthy Twins really just go all in and make a trade for Tua and just say, hey, we're riding with our cousin Mike's offensive coordinating duties down there as the new head coach of the Fins. I think, yes, part of it is the Cleveland factor, though. Myles Garrett can't cover all 4 of the Dolphins or 3 of the Dolphins that Beth's healthy Twins decides to trot out there. So we'll see exactly what happens. MS Bateman returns, has a good lineup. You got to wonder about some of these guys though that can just lay goose eggs week in and week out. I mean, I'm talking Mooney, McLaurin, Pitts, and London. All are capable of just laying you 3 or 4 points on a weekly basis, despite all 4 of those guys being hyper talented athletes. So could easily flip in the other direction. What do we got? We got a plus 23 line with the current lineup set right now. Anybody want to take Beth's Healthy Twins and the points?
I'm taking Beth's Healthy Twins and the points on this one. He's got to replace Nick Folk, kicker on bye. Surprised he didn't do the waiver wire. 2 kickers got snagged up in waivers just this morning. So late on the draw there, knowing you're going into a bye week. But we're going to get, another 7 to 8 points there. Line's going to end up being around 16. I'm taking Beth's Healthy Twins to cover that 16.
Yeah, LM?
I mean, I agree with that analysis. Those Dolphins wide receivers can just put up 25 apiece easily. And then Kyler, the point compiler, he could easily put the team on his back too. So we'll see. Yeah, it'll be a good one. MS Bateman, it's just going to be fascinating, if he has a playoff berth. Like you said, he's a very dangerous team, but kind of boom or bust each week. So, yep.
Yeah, let's move to the reigning champ here versus.
I like this matchup.
Yeah, take it away.
Yeah, I think stage 5 is finally getting into the meat of his schedule. Opened up 7-0, 6-0, starting to get some losses. I get it. Bunchin's got some players that could goose egg a little bit. Donta Foreman showed up, then did not show anything playing against Atlanta. Gesicki, you might need to look for another tight end there. Somehow the ball is not going to the tight end in Miami. It's just going all the wide outs. I think it's Bunchin this week. I think we're going to get another loss for the reigning champ.
Well, I love the call. I mean, we've got a pretty tight line, and these seem to be like they'll probably be the actual starting lineups for this matchup. We've got really just the reigning champs laying a field goal against the Bunchin players here. I mean, look for.
Surprised.
Yeah,
sorry.
I know you mentioned Gesicki here a little bit as a somebody who's just not getting the ball, but also, I believe playing under the franchise tag, or at least just a picked up 5th-year option, should find a new home next year, and is by pretty much all measures one of the most athletic tight ends in all of football. So great dynasty stash moving forward. Not a great start this year, however, unfortunately. So what do you think, LM? We rolling with the champs, laying a field goal on the road?
I'm just surprised that Bunchin hasn't made the switch to Derek Carr at this point. Tom Brady just can really, talk about laying goose eggs. He's looked a little better, but they just haven't been explosive. That O-line's not giving him enough time, I think. But stage 5 Klinger, this is a pretty weak playoff team in my opinion. I feel like it's Mahomes and Kupp.
Yeah.
Just they need to carry this squad. Very average running backs. So it's going to be a tough repeat. If anybody can do it, it's Dan the Man. But I kind of like Bunchin. I think overall he has a more balanced squad.
Stage 5, I think, is going to be that team we look for trades right up at the deadline. They got to fill some gaps to make that repeat push. This week, if they win, it's Mahomes and Kupp, just like you said. I think Arizona and the Rams is going to be a shootout, and Mahomes is going to tear Jacksonville apart. What do you think? I don't want to spend too much time here, but Donta Foreman, do we keep playing him, or do we run Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott, both Cowboys, going against Green Bay this week?
As a former owner of both of them, that's part of the reason I traded them. I didn't want to play that game every week of which one to start. I was like, fuck it, man. Let's get Gabe Davis. He's going to be a top 15 wide receiver, I think, for fantasy, for Dynasty. But anyway, I would start both of them, to your point. Chuba Hubbard might come in and get a lot of carries. It's been a short week. Maybe Chuba's rested the ankle. So if he plays, it could be dicey. Then again, Donta did score 3 touchdowns on Atlanta. So Brian's facing the same problem I had when Javonte was still healthy. It's which one do you start? Yeah. And you'll just pick wrong every week.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, so sub Dalvin Cook, you've kind of got that dilemma. And then Sony Michel, that just seems to be getting goal line carries every week. I mean, that's got to be on your radar for a flex play for whatever reason. What do you think here, buddy? Let's move into Dame Judi Dench taking on the Ham Nation, the Ham Stars. What do you got for yourself?
Oh no, you guys hit me with it.
All right, LM, you take the first crack at this matchup.
I love that Judy has just rolled with the quarterbacks they have. When you put Gino up on the trade block, I kind of thought Fermi might text me, but he's like, no, I like the guys I got. I think Kenny Pickett is the real deal. So I think that was a good hold. I kind of have to go with this running back, the stable of stallions that Firm's been rolling with. You got somebody on a bye week? Who's your third guy, your third running back?
Kareem Hunt. Oh, and Kenyon Drake, baby, on the bye though. On the bye.
Yeah, love the Drake.
Okay.
He loves the Drake. Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins on the IR. He'll be back ready for playoff
Dobbins,
time,
that's who I was thinking of. If it was me, I might be tempted. The same thing with the Pollard Zeke dilemma. You're almost tempted to start Hunt and Chubb, maybe sub out Judy, but that's a tough call, man. Judy's been, and that's mainly Russ. You got food poisoning from Russ, so. Then on the other side, what can you say about the Ham Fist? He just keeps grinding. DeAndre Swift has been just a thorn in his side all year. At the time they made that trade for Derek Carr, I thought it was a pretty lopsided deal, but now I think Brian knew something we didn't. He had that inside information that DeAndre might never play a full season in his whole career. So, but Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, man, that elbow, what's going to happen? So what do you think, Nick?
No, obviously, if Josh Allen's done, this team collapses completely, right? I mean, it's riding on this Allen Diggs connection, which honestly, if you were going to build a team around a quarterback and wide receiver, that's about as good of a hookup as you could build one around. But goodness gracious, off the top of my head, I don't even know who the backup is up there in Buffalo right now. I mean, it's and so that exactly.
Case Keenum, yeah.
Is it Case Keenum? Okay, all right. Well, that's a little better than maybe I'd hoped. Not a Nathan Peterman type at the very least, but we've still, you're going to see some collapse from Diggs. And also, we're getting Taysom Hill points now. We've been saying this now for years. It's like, well, how much longer is this going to last? Well, it keeps lasting. So maybe that's just for real, and Taysom Hill is legit a tight end one for fantasy football purposes. But honestly, not if Josh Allen's out, this team is going to collapse and they'll be fighting for the cellar. I like Dame Judi Dench, and I like them covering the 2 touchdowns.
You gotta look. We don't have a full lineup set yet for Ham Nation. Tyler Boyd's got to get somebody slid in there, and Taysom might have Dawson Knox slide in instead as well. So
sure, no, absolutely. So this line will move closer to the median, and I'm still taking Dame Judi Dench, buying it all the way up to 2 touchdowns. We're going to ride that one at a plus 600 money line, giving 14 points. Break out the hammers, boy. Let's go. And last matchup of week 10, Rivers meet Timbers versus DC Insurrectionist. Marcus Mariota. Not Mariota, Marcus Mariota is in this lineup, quite literally the fringe QB1 of the year, not performing quite as well as some people thought that he might, but you've got Joe Burrow, I believe, on a bye this week. And of course, we're still in Deshaun Watson loading realm. So we've got Marcus Mariota 7-2, and a Jonathan Taylor blow up the rest of the way out puts this team very much in title contention. 7-2, and Jonathan Taylor staying like he is puts this team very much in the middle of the pack and hoping for some good luck. And LM, I believe that you were talking earlier about seeing green check marks on one side of the board. Well, the Insurrectionists have that lighted up on their side at this point.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'll tell you, the foreskins are looking real good. You got to tip your hat to Tom with his team building. Nobody saw Josh Jacobs having, at least I don't think so. I mean, it's just been unbelievable that New England offense.
Some people might have made a half dozen or more trade offers for Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
The rumors have it, but yeah,
on that contract year. Oh man, he's going to get paid by somebody. So anyway, Amon Ra has not been able to stay healthy, but if he gets back to full health, I mean, God, that guy's just unreal. So I really like, if I had to pick a title matchup right now, depending on the playoff seeding, it's probably going to be the foreskins versus the Medusas, the pubics. So yeah, this week, the battle of the cousins, you got to go with the green check marks. And I think he could even cover that. I don't know, JT, they're not going anywhere, Indianapolis. Do you just shut him down? They've already decided they're going to tank. That ankle, why risk anything, that could cause permanent damage? So if that happens, then yeah, he's in no man's land, not where you want to be. An 8 seed going into the playoffs and then getting bounced and then having the middle of the pack, draft position. So
I think he's just going to be happy to have a draft pick, to be honest, no matter where it is. That's we've run through everything. LM, you got any message for the league here?
Yeah, sorry, it took up a lot of time with that analysis, but it was fun. So next season we're going to be using these taxi spots, taxi squad and sleeper, so that you have 3 spots. Everybody has 3 draft picks, right? At least at baseline. And, some people have like 13 going into next year. But if everybody has 3, your first 3 picks are going to fill that taxi squad. And then, of course, if you had more than that, then you'd have to clear roster space to throw those new draft picks on there, like Nick and I are going to have to do. But the taxi, those players can stay in there. You can move them to your active roster, whatever you want to do, up until week 1. And then once we get to week 1, you're not going to be able to move players into the taxi squad, but anybody that's on your taxi squad will stay there. And the point of doing this really is just so, in my case, Sky Moore, good long-term prospect. This is not going to be his season, obviously. I mean, who knows? Maybe he's going to be the Amon Ra of this season, but I doubt it. So I could have just kept him on my taxi squad until he was relevant to me. It's kind of like having a farm team. And then that way, it frees up your actual roster spots. You can keep making moves, getting through the bye weeks and just keeping those young, budding potential players in a taxi. So I think it'll be nice. It'll give everybody a little bit more roster flexibility. And then as people move players from their taxi to their main roster, they'll have to be dropping players on their active roster. So that'll help them replenish the free agent pool. But it's something that a lot of dynasty leagues do, and Sleeper gives us the flexibility to do. So we're going to take advantage.
Yeah. Now, I mean, a question that has come in via our mailbag on Cum Paude related to the taxi squad. For those that don't support organized labor, unionization, and legislative medallion holders, will there be an Uber or Lyft squad as well?
I don't know where these questions are coming from, but yeah, that's something that we'll have to look at. I don't want to feel like anybody's being disenfranchised here. I'm all about, fair labor rights. Obviously we've had some discriminatory practices in the past at PHCF, and it's really put a dark cloud over our legacy. So that's something that we're trying to correct. So I appreciate the question, but yeah.
We've also got a question about the best time to plant tomato plants in the spring.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I'm not sure where these questions are coming from. But I'd say late May, early June. I think some of these guys should be more concerned about who they're going to plug into their tight end spot than about their damn tomato plants. But yeah, I think that's enough for manager score.
Yeah, no, thanks. A big round of applause for LM Sword taking a busy schedule away from Beth's actual healthy twins and his children as well in order to join us here on Cum Paude. What do you think, Fermi? Say goodnight, Firm.
Not yet. We got to do one more look at the standings right now.
Oh,
As we're
yeah.
going into week 10. I think we're going to see a 4-way tie for first place coming out of week 10. We're going to see the top 2 teams go down this week. We're going to see
Calling his
Medusas and
shot.
Judy Dench jump up to 7 wins. We're going to see the top 8, the playoff teams, beat 500 or above going in to finish it up here. Really, really wild that the top 2 teams right now are the only 2 teams in the top 9 under 900 points. But hey, finding a way to win. Last note that I've got, really sounds like the league manager's trying to move TJ Hawkinson with a lot of commentary about people needing tight ends. So just keep your trade inboxes open, and let's have another big week of fantasy, boys.
Yeah.
Say goodnight, Firm.
Good night, Firm.